Of all the fucking people
I
who
know.
would know better.
I know.
Hey everybody, this is Kat.
And this is Rachel.
And you're listening to the Smut Peddlers podcast, a show for people who love books, especially when there's smut. We discuss our likes, our dislikes, and share all our favorite moments with you.
Today we're talking about Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, so grab your favorite beverage and get ready to burn with us. We've finally made it to the last book. This is part 1 of Kingdom of Ash. We have been reading in the romantic order, and we're finally here. Today we are going to cover up until chapter 9. For our recap, basically everything's fucked. We have 4 teams right now. We've got Team A, which is Find Aelin. We've got Rowan, Gavrial, Lorcan, and Elide on that team going to try to track our girl down. Team B, Backup Plan, which is the 13 and Dorian. Not 100% clear what they're doing other than their main mission, I think, is just find the last word key and then figure out basically what has to be done. And the Krakens. The 13 are looking for the Krakens. They're also trying to find the last word key, looking for any information that they can. And then they don't really know what the plan is after that. Figure out what Dorian's actually supposed to do if he's the one that has to fulfill the prophecy, or what Aelin's supposed to do whenever they find her and she gets back. We have Team C, Distraction and Deception, which is Lysandra, Aedion, Ren, Murtaugh, and the rest of the court. And we have Team D. Get the fuck back here already. Please, God. Everybody come back together. With Nesryn, Sartak, Chaol, Yrene, and a ton of healers and a whole ass army. Thank God. And then we also have Aelin, who's in hell. Not the Morath one, but the one with the evil Vogue bitch queen, who's terrifying. So it's great. Yeah. Hooray!
Yippee! Maeve's a bitch, and now she has Aelin in an iron box, just covered in iron, so she can't do anything. Yeah. So she has 0 powers, which is terrifying.
Oh, and Fenris is also there.
Yes, Fenris is there.
Fenris
which is a nice
Aelin.
It's a nice little reprieve, a little bit, that like Aelin somebody.
It's fucking terrible for the both of them, but
yeah, it's terrible for both of them. But at least they have each other.
They are getting through it together.
Yeah. These are not new characters, but there are 2 characters that we have heard about that are going to play larger roles, I think, in this book than they have in previous books. We have Cairn, who we know is a piece of literal garbage.
Yes, he's actually the worst.
Is one of the newest Blood Oath people. He loves to torture things. He is Arabin. You remember how Arabin had that one guy that worked at like the pit? I think it was the pit. And he just tortured people. It's that guy, but like on steroids. Like he is... That other guy was like brute force and did not give a shit that he was torturing people. Cairn gets just like a sick enjoyment out of it. It feeds him, and he very much enjoys torturing people. So we hate him.
He's actually the worst.
Yeah. And then we get to see Connell, Fenris's brother. So we've heard of Connell. Fenris is tied to Maeve because of him. Connell pretty much offered the blood oath to Maeve.
Yeah.
And Fenris pretty much said, let him go. And Maeve said, I'll only protect him if you also swear a blood oath to me. And so Fenris went and swore a blood oath to protect his brother. So those are our 2. Don't be sad yet. We're not allowed to be sad until the end. Even though we know.
I'm just sad about the way that all that shit went down. I'm not being sad about anything that may or may not be coming in the near future. Just
so
everything else.
The book starts off kind of with a recap, which is nice. We get chapter 1, which is technically called The Prince, and it is Rowan's point of view and his kind of internal dialogue. he pretty much talks about, or in there it talks about how he is currently with Lorcan and Gavrial. Kind of, he feels bad that he's not stopping to rest, and they need to eat, and everyone needs to rest. He's also, Elide is with them. He doesn't really talk about her much. He notes that it's been days, weeks, months that have passed, and that he's still on the search for Aelin, and that is all that he can think about. He doesn't really pay attention to the fact that he's with a group of people. He's just, I have to go. And he has to keep reminding himself that he's with people. Like,
he is wildly disassociating. I mean,
yes.
he spent, the thing that I liked about the I guess it's like a prelude for, it's 2 preludes back to back. One's called The Prince and the Princess, and Rowan's is just like how detached he is becoming from humanity, and how much like he spends in his hawk form, and how he would not, like, he talks about he wouldn't eat or sleep or do anything other than search for her if he did not have them there to like continue to remind him that he had to do that. Or that like, part of me really does just believe that like they brought Elide along so that he wouldn't just be able to push the Fae or warriors to their fucking limit. Like, he has to chill for Elide. Part of me thinks that that's why they brought him.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or that they brought her.
Because Gavriel's not going to stop him, he knows. And Lorcan's definitely not going to stop him.
Lorcan's definitely not fucking allowed to have an opinion about how quickly they do or do not go to go get her. So,
the last line in this is, still he searched, still he hunted for her on every dusty and forgotten road, and sometimes he spoke along the bond between them, sending his soul on the wind to wherever she was held captive, entombed. I will find you. Which is the end of Empire of Storm, was him saying, I will find you. And it's just, my heart.
I know. And it hurts also, because it's like,
it hurts so bad.
We know that it's been
months,
a while now.
Yeah,
we don't.
This
know
is
how
where
many
we learn
months,
that it's been.
But
months.
It has been months. No,
not great.
The next chapter is The Princess, which is Aelin's POV, and it's just her description of, like, it basically the same thing of setup for what she has been enduring while these months have gone by. She knows, she's like, hears rushing water. She doesn't really know where she is, but she can hear water. She's been in the box most of the time. They like knock her out pretty frequently. Like, they have like a gas or whatever that they pump into the box to like knock her out. So she really doesn't have any idea how much time has passed, and that the entire time she's continuing to not tell them anything. Like, she's just silent. Fenris is there. He is forced to watch like all of her torture, and that's basically his torture. And they are manipulating her like brain and memories, because that's Maeve's fucking shit. It's her stick, okay? So she's like manipulating memories of Rowan. She doesn't know what's real and what isn't real. And this is my favorite line in the whole book, and a lot of it is, it's one of the ones that like comes up in every like fucking TikTok and video and posted all over the place. But the thing that gets her through it is she repeats to herself over and over again, once upon a time, in a land long since burned to ash, there lived a young princess who loved her kingdom. Oh, it's so cute.
It hurts. Isn't that one of the lines that her father had said to her? It was like one of the like bedtime story type things.
Right.
That he would remind her who she was. And so it's just like, she's holding on to the memory of her father. And that comes up a lot. Like, the memory of her father comes up a lot when she is kind of going, she's disassociating. She's using all of the training that she got as an assassin. That's one benefit to her currently being tortured, is Yrene taught her how to be tortured.
Yeah.
And she knows how to be tortured and not say anything, which is a benefit to her. However, I wish she didn't have to go through that in either realm. But it is in this moment, it is kind of a benefit. She has the ability to hold out as long as possible because she specifically was trained to do that through her like teenage years, young and teenage years.
Yeah.
So she disassociates anytime something bad is happening, and she always goes to her father, which I think is like so lovely because it's always these like little snippets of story, which I also very much enjoy. Then we move into what is referred to as part 1 of Kingdom of Ash, armies and allies. And chapter 1, like official chapter 1, is, I think, in this section, the longest one. We get pretty much all of the information of what's going on with Aedion and Lysandra. So we know Lysandra is pretending to be Aelin. Aedion, still not thrilled by this.
Yeah.
He is picturing that, like, okay, they just think I'm this, like, breeding horse. She was manipulating me the whole time. She doesn't actually care about me, which is like, bro, please.
The thing that makes me struggle so hard with him being so upset about being treated like what did he say? A broodmare or something like that. I'm like, okay, but you're saying that about a person who was basically forced into prostitution for her entire life. Like, I just it hurts a little bit. I'm like, dude, just I want him to use his like super highly analytical part of his brain that makes him super, and the reason that he's in charge of the Bane, to be like, how else would you think that? Do you have a better plan?
Would you like all of your allies to know that Aelin is captured?
Right. The only thing my brain is like, this is a genius idea. The only part that I'm like here for in terms of him being a little pissed is like, he just, everything that they've had, all of their relationship bits up until this point are like now colored in a different way of he does not know if they were to get closer to him because she knew that Lysandra knew that she would have to have a relationship with him if this came about, or if she did genuinely have feelings for him. And even then, I still get annoyed because she is traumatized and she's like, I think it's a little unfair that he like thinks that she's that manipulative.
Yeah.
From everything. He's super hurt right now. I'm going to give him like, I don't know, 10 more chapters to get his shit together. Okay. And like, then just be like, okay, let's go. Like, move on. But he's butthurt. Or actually, technically it's been months. So maybe we've done the 10 chapters already. I don't know. But
I think it's fair that he's upset.
Right.
Because his whole thing is information being withheld from him has always been his like thing that makes him upset.
Right.
And
but, like,
it feels like
cool, so be mad at Aelin. Like, Lysandra, she's following the orders of her queen. What did you want her to do?
Yeah, I can see that, but every time we go back, every thought that he has towards Aelin now is that she had all these things in motion. He can't be mad at her. She
sacrificed herself.
Yeah, she sacrificed herself and she put all of these things in motion, even though I questioned her and said, where are our allies, like a million times, and she had all of this working in the background.
Yep.
And literally, so now he's like, I can't get mad at her. Yeah.
He had said such horrible things to her that day. She'd taken down the Ilkin. Where are our allies, he demanded. He was still trying to forgive himself for any of it. All that he had was this one chance to make it right, to do as she asked and save their kingdom. Cool. So suck it up and talk to Lysandra.
Yeah. We are with Aedion. They have kind of made it back to Ren. At this point, we said earlier that like one of our teams is Ren, and They are in Orinth.
They're in Terrasen.
They're in Terrasen, but where is... Sorry, my brain forgot where...
I think Orinth...
Ren
no, because Terrasen
is the lord of.
Allsbrook.
Allsbrook.
He is the lord of Allsbrook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are within Terrasen, but like mostly in Allsbrook is like
Yeah.
the little subsection of Terrasen that they're in. It's snowing. Months have passed. We are now entering winter, or like fall, I guess. But there's still snow, or snow is coming. It's early. He's back with the Bane, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no information of Erewhon at all. They don't know where he is.
Much, yeah.
Nothing has happened.
The only thing that they've got is like they've made an assumption. What's the other guy's name?
Darrow?
It's not Murta. Darrow. Darrow's made an assumption that his
Erewhon's not
going
to do anything because
he's like, it's winter. They're going to be cold. They can't. Foot soldiers can't make it through. It's like, bitch, they're basically shadow monsters. What the fuck are you talking about? But sure, whatever. So
yeah,
they're
human people.
Human. No, totally
not.
Got you. Humans definitely. They're not fucking human. How many times do we have to? They're literal demons. Also, you don't think that he would just send the witches with their wyverns in to aerially fuck your shit up? What the hell?
Yeah.
We already know that they can without ground troops from ages ago when they went in with Kaltain. Anyways.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're chilling. We're going to just hang out and
Just
protect what's here. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah. However,
they do.
Ren believes Aedion. So Aedion has pretty much said that, like, I don't think that they're just going to hold out for winter. And Ren and Murtaugh pretty much agree with him. So, and the Bane. And, is it, my brain keeps saying Gavin, but that is incorrect. Who's the human?
No, I'm trying to remember too. The prince, right?
Yeah. Can't think of his name right now.
No. Maybe we should have written down all the characters' names. Even if it weren't to, like, do the introductions of all of them. Oh my gosh. What is the prince's name?
My brain keeps saying Gavin, but that is incorrect.
It's not it.
It's that line.
Gallon?
Gallon. Yeah.
There it is. It's close.
I was like, there's something with a G. Like, there's a
Gallon.
G.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the other bit, is they've got, in the north, it's like the army that they have gathered. So they've got, the White Thorns are with them because they met up in the last book. Who's the girl from the Wastes?
Ansel.
Okay. So they've got like the armies up there. The army basically consists of the Bane, Ansel's men, the White Thorns, and
the Silent
Assassins, and then also Gallon's troops from Wenland. So like that's the army. And then whoever they have that Darrow has is also like that basically is
just
the
like the
entire
other
army that they consist of. The other troops that have been
lands.
that have been protecting Terrasen.
Yeah.
So there's like a couple of things that are happening in the beginning that are kind of setting the stage for what's going to happen throughout the rest of the book. One is we have the actual physical army, which are fighting to, like, they're not even really fighting. They're just kind of like staying in the area to protect Terrasen in case Maeve comes or fucking what's his face comes
to take it.
Yeah. And then there's also the political battle because we still have Lysandra playing Aelin. So there's a political battle of they won't recognize her authority to fight because she's not technically queen until the other lords of Terrasen recognize her as such. She doesn't have enough votes. There's like 4 people.
4 votes to be queen because there's
7 lords in
7
total.
lords. Yeah.
Right. The people on Darrow's side aren't important. I'm not going to name their names. There's 4 of them over there. On this side is Ren, Elide, and someone else who I can't remember. It's not Aedion, though, because Aedion isn't technically a lord. Is it Gallon?
Gallon? I think Gallon isn't... Gallon's Wendland, though, so Gallon's not part of Terrasen.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying... There's 3 of them. There's Allsbrook, and there's Elide, and then there's one other.
Wouldn't it
Not
be Orin?
Not counting Lysandra as the lady of
I think it's whoever is the Lord of Orin. And I can't remember who that is.
Yeah, I can't remember who that is. Aelin has 3 votes, basically. She's got Ren, who's Lord of Allsbrook, Elide with because she's Lady of Paranth. Not that they're gonna recognize her shit either, because she's a woman, so why does she get any say? And then they also have a new ally, Sol and Ravi of Surya, who are likely to support her as queen. So they'd only have 3 votes against the 4 that are opposing her, who are all on Darrow's side. There's no hope whatsoever, basically, that Lysandra's vote is going to be counted as Lady of Caraver, because basically she wouldn't get recognized until Aelin's queen, because once Aelin's queen, she would make her Lady of Caraver. As a princess, she doesn't have the ability to make her a lady of anything.
Yeah.
Ren and Aelin have like a long, rocky history. But
however, Ren does say we support you. Like, he has pretty much said to Aedion when they were having this conversation of like, I might have a thing right now with Aelin and I might be mad at her currently. Like, I might be frustrated with how things have been playing out. However, I've been fighting on this side for so long. Like, I'm not abandoning now because I'm a little pissed 100%. Off at Aelin. Like, and this is still the correct side of history.
He like is able to separate Aelin as a person and Aelin the queen.
Yeah.
In terms of like, he's pissed at Aelin the person, but he's like fully in support of Aelin the queen.
Yeah, he's pissed at his friend.
He recognizes Caraver, which is like so cute. So the other reunion we get, as they come back and they meet up with them, we get to see Evangeline again and Fleetfoot, who's still fine. Fleetfoot has the best survival rate of any goddamn animal in an entire book series ever. He has been there since day 1, and that boy will probably run off into the goddamn sunset in a big-ass field, happy for the rest of his life. Thank you, Sarah. Please.
One of the first things that Evangeline says is that Fleetfoot is here too, and she loves Murtaugh more than me now. She's pretty much fatter than a lazy house cat. Like, because Murtaugh
feeds her so many treats. It's so cute.
And so she's like, Evangeline has like the little sassy, like, young girl moment of like, and my best friend doesn't even care about me anymore. She cares more about Murtaugh because he's giving her treats all the time, and she's just fat now and lazy. And when she was with me, she wasn't fat and lazy, and now she's best friends with him and not me. And I just thought it was the most precious little thing.
It's literally me complaining about how Bjorn likes Steven more than me. Like, constantly. I'm like, I feed you. I like I cut your nails. I give you all the attention. And I'm like, do you want to come snuggle with me? He goes and he walks over and lays in Steven's lap. I'm like, this is bullshit. I hate it here.
So Evangeline came into the room when Aedion and Ren were talking, and Lysandra was in falcon form in the rafters, just listening, because I don't remember the reasoning, but she was pretty much listening because maybe it was Gallon didn't fully trust her or something, and Gallon was there. But either way, she was kind of in the shadows as a falcon. And then Evangeline comes running in and yells for Aedion, and he bear hugs her, which is, I think, like, one of my favorite scenes. Is he turns off that, like,
so cute
grumpy man and goes straight into, like, I adore the hell out of you, Evangeline, and gives her the biggest hug and is like, you're so tall now, like, I haven't seen you in so long, I hope you're well, you're healthy, like, looks her over to make sure she's healthy and happy, and it's just my heart. And then, of course, Lysandra flashes back into human form, grabs a thing, covers her, and then immediately also bear hugs Evangeline. And Evangeline is just like yapping at both of them, and it's the cutest little thing, the best reunion. And she just talks about how wonderful the castle is and how Ren and Murtaugh just like treat her so well, and she loves it here, and it's so pretty, and I have to go show you everything, and come to my room, it has a bath chamber in it, and like all of this other thing.
Murtaugh took her to see Caraver. and like took her to see Caraver and was like, basically was like, this is the house and like this is where you guys will live, like when it gets recognized, like this will be your territory, blah blah blah. And she's like telling Lysandra about it, about how beautiful it is and like how big the house is and all these things. And it's just, oh, it's so cute. And Aedion looks to Ren and is like, you're recognizing Caraver. And Ren's response is, Darrow is not the Lord of Allsbrook. And I'm like, yes, Ren! We love you!
We love Ren. So Evangeline pretty much pulls Lysandra off kind of towards to show her, like, you smell bad, like you're coming and taking a bath, which is the funniest thing. I really enjoyed this little bit because it ties back to Ren and who he is and like how his character, he like has this like line of, I'm frustrated with Aelin, but I'm also like a lord, and I recognize that like sometimes you have to do things that you're not fully 100% okay with. But Aedion says to him, oh, that's a fancy room for a guest. And he says, because it was his sister's room.
He gives Evangeline like this nice room with like a bath in it. And that would have been like for the family.
Mm-hmm. And so he gave her his sister's room as to have her own, and pretty much says like she would have loved her. Yeah. Like they're the same. And he looks to Evangeline as like his younger sister, and this whole time he's been caring for her as if she was his younger sister still alive. Yeah. And as we know from the previous book, his sisters
Ren lost his sisters in an attack on
their school.
Like, they had a magic school basically, and they attacked the school and killed all the children there, which was fucking horrific.
Yeah. We did miss a part that I think is very important. Towards the beginning, the reason Ren, Aedion, and Lysandra were together is they were out on a scouting mission because they got word that there were some soldiers that were seen in this like narrow pass, and so they went out to go look at this, and they saw 6 Volg soldiers arrive through this narrow pass, and that pretty much solidified Aedion and Ren's idea that like they're not waiting for winter to end for us to like attack us. So that was our one kind of show that they aren't going to wait. They're already sending troops through. Granted, it was only 6. They didn't really get too much information out of these Volg soldiers. They pretty much killed all except for one, incapacitated him to the point where he couldn't run away. He didn't give them any information. He pretty much just said, like, you guys are out of luck. You're not going to get anything from me, sort of. And that was that. They ended up killing him. He gave them no real true information about what the strategy was for showing up right now. But it did kind of tell them, no, they are still on the move.
Yeah, they're like on alert because they're not just sitting around like Darrow thinks that they fucking
I don't know what the fuck is up with that. But I just think that's important. They do then also get word kind of later on throughout this chapter that Erewhon's troops had made landfall at the coast of Eldris, which is supposed to be where Aelin is right now. So Lysandra is not in Aelin form currently.
Yep. So they have to have some reason why she's not around.
Yeah. So they get word back. Killian sends a letter back. Killian went to Eldritz to go scout it out. The city ended up getting destroyed. We don't know if Erewhon thought that Aelin was there. Like, word got back to him that Aelin was there, so he went to attack this little place because that's where they fake sent Aelin as Lysandra.
Speculation?
Like, yeah.
Possible.
We don't know. We just know that he pretty much leveled the entire city. And they took out...
like, immediately freaked out. It's like, did she make it out? And they're like, yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, she's definitely fine.
She's fine.
10 of Wendelin warships were destroyed in that one attack. And the rest of the fleets kind of were sent back.
Yeah.
And now Erewhon has control of Eldris. And could reach Orinth in a week if they just go straight through.
Yeah. Eldris is like out on the water, and they could just basically sail like right up the river to Orinth.
Yeah. Not great. Not a great scenario to be in.
Not ideal.
So we know for a fact Erewhon is not waiting now. Beginning of chapter, Darrow's like, no, it'll be fine. There's snow and
it's fine. We're chilling.
It'll be too cold. They won't move. And everyone else is like, I don't think you've fought the Vogue before. So here we go. The only thing Aedion has pretty much said to Lysandra is he looks at her and asks, how many can you carry in your wyvern form? So we don't know if that means she is to be sent there to bring them back, or they are going together to go take back Eldris. Like, we don't really know.
Because the other part, too, is they're concerned. The other thing that they're concerned about is they're up the river, but if they have Eldris, they've got Rolf's army, like, in the sea, like, out. So if they have Eldris, which is, like, really close to the opening of this river, they could separate, basically. Their armies will be separated. Yeah. So, like, they're thinking that they need to, like, start booking it down the river with their troops so that Rolf can attack from the sea, and then they can attack through the river and hit them on both sides and take care of them. But they don't know where any of them are.
Yeah. That's all the information we have.
So and they're basically just like, we have to go find them.
Go hang out with someone else.
Yeah. This whole episode is just going to be set up from POVs from every single person, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was very cool. Like, the first couple of... We only did the first 9 chapters, and, like, every single chapter is, like, here's this person's POV. Here's this person's POV. Here's this... You get, like, a little bit of everybody.
Yeah, you're going to notice us call it out. I found it very important that every person had their own little blurb. So I wrote at the beginning of our notes every person's, like, POV of that chapter, which I think is very helpful.
Yeah. So now
especially because so much is going on.
Elide's POV. Yeah. So that was one of the things I thought. I mean, we obviously did it differently because we did the tandem read. We did a pretty good job, like, keeping up with everybody. That was a lot when I went from reading Tower of Dawn separately and then Empire of Storms and then reading Kingdom of Ash. It was all of a sudden like, oh shit, we have everybody all at the same time, all in the same book. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, as we mentioned in our recap, we've got 4 different teams and then also Aelin and Fenris. So there's 5 different groups of people that are all out doing their own shit.
Yeah. So we go into Elide's point of view. They are in a city that she can't pronounce. That's how it was described in the book. She's in a city she can't pronounce that's south of Dornell. It's an ancient city. It also mentions that she's traveling with Gavrial, Rowan, and Lorcan, so we know that those are the 4 that are together. She feels this guilt of being the reason they have to stop so often. So we talked about how Rowan has kind of been like tunnel vision of I must find Aelin, but he has to slow down a bit because he's with kind of a group. Elide has taken it as like she is the weak link of this group. Because technically she's the only human, so she can't move as fast, she can't walk as long, she can't do a lot of the same things. She's not as physically strong. So she feels this kind of guilt that she's slowing down Rowan from getting to Aelin, which I like her being with them, personally. So
she is the only reason
not gonna see it.
Keeping Rowan from losing himself and accidentally killing himself due to exhaustion. So
yeah.
Also, Gavrial.
Go ahead.
Gavriel's just the sweetest person on the planet the whole time.
I love Gavrial so much.
He's such a, like, big, like, Papa Bear.
He is. He's like, he's dad. He's just like...
He is.
He is like it feels like he's the protector of the group. Like, he's, like, trying to make sure Rowan's okay, trying to make sure Lorcan's okay, trying to make sure Elide is okay. Like, he just, like...
All the time.
He is the glue. He's holding everyone together.
They stop at one point and they like didn't stop to get food, and he like notices that Elide, she's like, we should have stopped for lunch. He's like, I have an apple in my bag, like you can have that. She like grabs the apple. Gavrial's stomach is so loudly rumbling. He's like offers it to like for them to split. He's like, no, like it's okay. She's like, your stomach is so loud. Please eat something.
I can hear your stomach grumbling from here. So at this point, they're in like an alleyway in a town. And they're waiting. Yeah.
Sorry, I want to add the one thing. Gavrial is also bracing her ankle because she will not let Lorcan do it. And he offered. So like Gavrial is just taking care of everyone the best as he can the whole time. I really like Elide's there to keep them their human sides intact, I think. Gavriel's there to make sure that nobody dies, basically, and that everyone takes care of themselves. Lorcan's in punishment. This is his punishment. He has to help track them down. And Rowan is just blind with, I have one mission, and that's it.
Yeah, this whole time, so Elide notes that Gavrial was being very kind to her, that he taught her how to ride a horse so that she could keep up with them. So they purchased horses, and they're traveling by horse instead of by foot, which is really nice. And then he also uses his magic to brace her ankle, which is wonderful. And she also notes that she hates Lorcan right now for trying to follow Maeve.
She doesn't, her POV, she like doesn't mention him by name either, which is a lot.
Yeah.
She's like the dark shadow in the corner over there. I'm like, oh shit. She's really pissed.
Yeah.
If she's like, I thought it was cool that even though it's her POV, Sarah could have written his name down. But even if it's just us being in Elide's brain, even Elide's brain is like, no, not mentioning that man's name. I'm good.
Yeah. Like I said, she was feeling guilty. She knew Aelin was taken, and it was to protect her because the threat was against Elide in that moment of like, if you can come with me willingly, or I'm going to take her and you're also going to come with me. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to torture her. So like that whole last scene was pretty much Maeve saying like, we can torture her in front of you if you want. And Aelin was like, no, thank you. We're good. I'll just go with you.
Just me. I'll go.
Yeah. So of course, Elide is like, well, she gave up her life for me, which isn't necessarily true. Yes, but also, given the alternative, which was everybody. She was gonna go to, like, either way, Aelin was going with them in that moment. Like, she was broken by Maeve's power. She had no power to fight back. There was no one with power around her to fight back. So, like, if in that position, I also would have been like, well, let me just think of the scenario. I can try to fight you, you're still gonna win, and then you're gonna take both of us, or I could just go willingly.
Yeah.
And you could take just me, and Elide could be fine.
She didn't have the people there to actually help her.
No.
Fight.
It was her, Manon, and Elide.
Mm-hmm.
Lorcan, Fenris,
and I think
Gavrial, who were
Manon
all, like,
and
under blood oath still.
Yeah. Manon and Aelin 100% would have been on the same page of, we're not fighting if it risks Elide.
Yeah.
They also had the word stone, so they couldn't fight anyways. Because if they lost, they'd be fucked. So Manon was like, I got these, I'm gonna go now, bye.
Manon was trying to play like, I'm just like,
she didn't give a shit.
I don't care what's happening.
I have no dog in this fight. I would like Elide to come with me, please. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take her. If we don't have an issue, I'm gonna take her now. Thank you.
I don't think there was any other way they really could have played that scenario.
No.
As shitty as it is, that was the best case scenario to come out of what happened. They protected the keys. The people who needed to get out got out.
Yeah. Look, so this whole scene, like I said, is taking place in an alleyway, all because Rowan saw a group of Fae warriors, a small group of Fae warriors, when they came into this town, and we didn't really know what was going on with that other than they're in an alleyway until two of them were yeeted out of a window in front of them. And then Rowan jumps out after.
Top of them.
Just like, hey, yeah, I'm here still. One of them was a commander. The other, not. The other one, I'm assuming, died. We don't fully know. It's assumed that
He only needed one of them alive. That's all we care about.
the commander didn't hit the ground to die. The other one hit the ground and died, I believe. So they start questioning the commander. They pretty much threaten him. And in the moments that they're threatening him, this is the first time Anieth has, like, talked to Elide in a while.
Yeah.
And this god is now telling her to, like, watch, see, listen, find someone else. Like, you will just listen to what's happening. Because every other time that they've done this, she's kind of looked away and not paid attention to the, torturing of a person, which is fair. Rowan and Lorcan were, like, hand in hand torturing this guy too. So, like, scary. Not great.
It was like Rowan was doing the torturing, but Lorcan just has to stand there. And Rowan's
because
like,
people know.
If you don't give me what I want, I will unleash his ass on you. And that's not something anybody fucking wants. And they, like, looked like they were going to piss themselves when Rowan was like, I've got him. You can go deal with that guy. And they're like, no, we're good. Thank you.
No, I'll tell you exactly what you want.
I'll tell you what I can. Thanks. He's kind of useless.
Yeah.
But he does say she's gonna kill you all, and Rowan's like, let her try.
Yeah, I still don't understand the, like, let's let go of the 3 strongest people that you had on your side to work together against.
Not even on your, like, under your complete control.
Yeah. Which is technically on her side.
Or even
like,
just the 2. Like, I get the run with Rowan because she wanted, like, they had a good trade.
Yeah.
But the other 2, she's just like, nah, you guys are useless to me. Like, okay, but they're useful. They might be useless to you, but they're useful to the other side. So, like, throw them in a dungeon and let them be useful and rot. Why just give them freedom to go? Whatever. We will have this conversation throughout the entire book, I'm sure. Of just like, Maeve, you dumb bitch. We can run this back to the 2 fucking decisions you made that lost you everything, basically. Like, every time something gets fucked up, if Lorcan or Gavrial are either of the 2 that help do it, I'm like, do you see the fuck up you've made? Do you see where your decisions went wrong, ma'am?
Yeah, this Vol queen who's supposed to, like, know everything and has been manipulating other Vol kings for centuries. Just, like, went,
Or kill them.
Yeah.
Any of the options were better than let them have their freedom.
Yeah, it just feels like that one little piece will always be like, this feels like such a decision just so that Aelin and them can win. Like, it just feels weird. It feels like a weird thing.
Like, part of me is also, I mean, I think the way that my brain is trying to, like, it kind of makes sense, is I'm going with, she's that fucking arrogant.
Yeah.
That she would think that
it doesn't matter who's on her side.
I think that she would definitely think that Gavrial is, like, so honorable enough to be like, I've been disgraced. I can't be of use to anyone now.
Mm-hmm. She thought the same of Lorcan.
But Lorcan's different. Lorcan's completely in love with Elide.
Yeah.
I think that Maeve doesn't understand the familial bond with Gavrial and his son, which is his bit of, like, she's never understood the familiar bond between Gavrial and them because Gavrial kept them a secret and stayed away the whole time rather than let Maeve have Aedion. So, like, I think those are it's not necessarily that she, like, gives the warriors up. I still think it's weird. But, like, I think that she genuinely believes that they're just going to be, like,
useless,
so broken and useless without the bond that drives them to do what they do, that they're just going to, like, fuck off and go.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Before Lorcan left Maeve, he was in her eyes, he was so head over heels in love with her and would do nothing but serve her. Forever.
And also hated Aelin. Like, like, blood-curdling genuine vicious rage and hate for Aelin. I think that it almost makes a little bit of sense for Lorcan. I still don't really get the Gavrial bit, because like Gavrial I still think would be like, how does she not realize
like the
that
only
he
one
would
that could
look
really
for
go
some
against
reason
the bond too? Like he did
but like
so
how
much
does she
against them.
how does she not realize that he would find some way to redeem himself because he's that honorable? I don't know. The Lorcan one makes more sense to me now that I'm thinking about, like, she doesn't have the knowledge of like how much he's fallen for Elide and how much he actually does like see Aelin's
point now.
Like the positives of Aelin.
Yeah.
I still think the Gavriel one doesn't make a ton of sense.
She's
just really out of touch with, humans, because she's fucking not human or fae.
True. So we end that little section of Elide without really knowing what the commander says. We just know that the commander spoke and then said that Maeve's gonna kill you all. And we're like, cool, great. She was gonna do that anyway.
Tell me something we don't already know, bro. Thanks.
And then we go to Aelin. And Aelin is currently in a dream state. And she is having a recurring nightmare. Which we hate.
Which is not the nightmare of the life of what she's in.
Nope.
Which is a different nightmare. That's the awake nightmare. She's also got a sleeping nightmare, which is so dope. We love this for
She has been having a recurring nightmare of the Staghorns and Oakwald being on fire. And then the Lord of the North, in his deer antler form, pretty much saying, you did this. And then the fire pretty much takes him over, and then he jumps is engulfed in flames. And then she wakes up.
This could be Maeve too, of like not.
Yeah, so Maeve is manipulating a lot of
dreams and stuff.
Brain. And we know that's a thing that Maeve can do, as we know that she manipulated Rowan so much that he didn't even know that Aelin was his mate.
She manipulated Rowan. She manipulated an entire continent into thinking that there was a third sister when there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Fenris is still watching her the whole time because she's been ordered to. Also, Fenris can only be controlled by two people, Maeve, and also she gave Cairn the ability to control him too. So like he basically is ordered to stand there and watch unless Cairn gives him permission to go eat or sleep or pee.
Mm-hmm.
And they mention like sometimes Cairn forgets, and
conveniently
will just
forgets.
hear him whine. He's also forced to stay in his animal form.
Yeah,
like most of the time.
He's in his wolf form most of the time.
So they just hear she just hears whining from inside the box of him.
In pain because he can't to move. Go and use the bathroom. Like he can't go and pee.
He'll be hungry. He'll be sleep deprived. He can't pee. Like it's terrible.
They're not just torturing her. Like they're torturing both of them this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that the thing is Fenris cares so deeply about people, and Maeve knows that. And so she knows that every time something happens to Aelin, he is also feeling that pain. Because he's a good person. He's a good person.
Yeah. We also learned that they've upgraded her restraints. So she's no longer just in a metal iron box, but now she has iron gauntlets on her hands. I assume because she's too fucking powerful and probably fuck some shit up at one point.
Terrified of her.
Mm-hmm. As she fucking should be.
Yeah. We don't know of anything actually happening, but I don't know, they gave her gauntlets. Maybe some point she was in so much pain that fire appeared or water appeared or something happened. She doesn't have any recollection of it, but then they were like, oh, she's fighting through all this iron somehow. Put gloves on her now.
There are a couple of things that get brought up in this chapter. One being that they torture her and then heal her back so she has no pain after it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
which is like part of the psychological torture of she has no idea what's real and what isn't in terms of like what has happened and what hasn't. Because when she wakes back up, her body's completely healed, she's not in any pain, and there are no physical marks on her body. And then there's also that Fenris and Aelin have a way of communicating because Fenris can't talk when he's a wolf.
Mhm.
He's a wolf. So they
also don't
have,
want
like,
anyone to overhear them if they do
Yeah.
speak. That's a big part too.
they wouldn't want that as well. They have a blinking code. They basically have like yes, no, and it's like, are you okay? Yes or no. And then a blink, I think it's like 4 blinks is just I'm here with you. And then one that she says that Fenris made up, which I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But it did
She
make me
counted
laugh.
his blinks 6. He made that one up. Liar or something
Liar.
like that. She refused to acknowledge that particular code. She blinked once again. Yes. So pretty much anytime she is in pain or something is happening, you find out that Fenris makes a point to tell her that I am here with you.
Yeah. They
No
like
matter
go through
what.
all of it together.
Yeah.
Fenris will like tap his feet or like
His claws.
like be really loud with his claws to let her know that she's there. Like if she's can't see or she's in the box, he'll like try to alert her by making noises and stuff when Karen's coming so that she doesn't like get shocked or have that sort of like fear. They both are just trying their best to be there for each other and like get through it together. And they're like very, it is the two of them the whole time.
Yeah. Another thing is they started like dosing her food and water with iron as well.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that still somehow she's fighting through all this iron and still has power. Fingers crossed.
I mean, there's the line in one of the previous books of like she's so powerful that they speculate as to whether they'll like whether if they put Aelin in a box like that, if it would actually be able to contain her.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see.
A big thing that Karen says every time that they're about to start her torture is, this could all be stopped with a few little words. Pretty much Maeve wants her to tell her where the word keys are and to swear the blood oath to her, which ain't fucking happening. No.
And she's like, in no particular order do you need to do those things. Because obviously if she swears the blood oath, then she'll just fucking say, tell me where the keys are, and Aelin will have no goddamn choice.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not doing either of those over her goddamn dead body, which would be preferable to Aelin at this point.
And I think one of my least favorite things that I've ever read is Karen is looking her over at some point when he is like about to torture her and touches the scar on her neck, which happens to be the mark that Rowan left on her. And I'm going to go to the line because I don't think I would do the creepiness justice. He says, if it wasn't for Maeve's gag order, the male mused, surveying her body like a painter assessing an empty canvas, I'd put my own teeth in you, see if Whitethorn's marking holds up then. Ugh. Disgusting. Vomit everywhere. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Hate it. Hate it. I would like to break Karen's neck. Please.
I would like to see him slowly tortured and flayed. Like literal skin, every single layer of skin peeled off his body. And you can put this in the fucking episode.
I want
that
Caltaine.
Man is disgusting. Oh, Caltaine is so good.
This the like shadow fire
like,
from the inside out.
Let everybody take a turn, you know? Like Lysandra can tear him apart. We'll heal him, put him back together, fucking break him again. I don't care.
Fuck this guy.
He is disgusting. And like, the only thing we've been doing, I don't know, we forgot to do trigger warnings at the beginning of this, by the way, which we probably should have done at some point. Maybe
if you're at this point, there are triggers in all of these books. We've said it on every episode pretty much ahead. Like, if you're reading the series, there are triggers.
Yeah. This book is
the
most. This is the most triggering of all of them. There is genuine, like, torture.
Our main characters, we have been pretty much, there's no so far, there's no on-scene sexual assault. However,
I can tell you
throughout from book one, we've gotten little bits and pieces of people having to deal with kind of sexual advances and sexual assault as minors and above. As we know, Lysandra was like forced into becoming a sex worker. Like, there's just all of these things. They continue as we go through.
Right. I will say that we will likely never cover anything any book that has on-page sexual assault. Correct. Only because that is a trigger for me. Like, I cannot read. I fucked up and read fucking Haunting of Adeline, and I will literally never recover from that goddamn book. So that's a hard pass for me. Can't do it. To protect my own mental health. So we will not cover anything that has on page. We will, however, cover things that have descriptions off page or in past, but like passively, like not graphic. Because I also can't do that. But like, we've already discussed in these books that like Lysandra has conversations with what she's had to do in the past. We are getting to it with, you know, these characters that, like, obviously more stuff's going to happen to them. They're tortured, so it's great. But there is no...
We had it too with... It wasn't like an on-page what was going to actually happen, but it was the same with Elide and Kaltain saving her. Like, the guards that were leering at her and dragging her, and she was becoming disrobed as she was like flailing to try to get away, and they were laughing. Like, that whole idea was like she even said she knew what was coming, and that was referring to them having potentially their way with her. And Kaltain said absolutely not, and blew everything up, which is fantastic. We love Kaltain so much. But it's stuff like that. Pretty much everything we've encountered so far is like alluding to it happening. We're going to see it with Fenris throughout this.
I will say, it will only ever be alluding to it happening. There will not be anything on page, because I would not be able to read the book. Fair. Which I think is not a terrible spoiler to give anybody. If you need more information or more specifics about the trigger warnings itself, spoil things for yourself to protect yourself mentally. That is the only important thing. So if you need more specifics about that, people have read the shit out of these books. I guarantee you that there's someone out there that you know that's read it and would likely be able to just tell you, like, I have books where I know people have read it before, and I will specifically ask them, like, word for word, does the main character get sexually assaulted on page at all, ever? Like, I need to know. And you can get a straight answer from somebody.
Storygraph is a great program.
That's another good one.
Webpage.
I think Fable also has started doing that too.
Yeah. They have it where it's the people that read it kind of... I don't know how Fable works, but I know that Storygraph pretty much... when people have read the book, they can mark triggers. And so you can go there and, like, say the top one is, like, child neglect or something. Like, it will show all of the different triggers that someone felt like they encountered while reading the book, without going into, like, great detail. And then you can obviously do more research from that point. But it's a nice place to start, I think. That being said, in this scene, we did not get that. We got the alluded, creepy Cairn kind of saying that he wanted to put his mark on Aelin. And luckily, Maeve is shitty, but
Disgusting.
at least she has pretty much said, no, you can't do that. So maybe we'll give her half a point of maybe not being a total piece of shit.
I don't want to give her any points yet. I don't know why she's doing that. And I don't like that I don't know why. I don't know.
I'm okay. Right now, I'm okay with her having half a point.
Sure, I'll take it. Take the half a point.
Because if it
scared.
wasn't for Maeve's gag order, that Maeve has put an order on him that he can't do that. Clearly, she has knowledge of him doing it previously. And so now she has to control him from doing that. But whatever. In this moment, he says all these things. Going back to the scene, like we said, Fenris blinks over and over again the sign for I am here, I am with you. And he does this throughout the book so far, and I'm assuming, and beyond, from what I've read, that he is with her every time something's happening. This is real, I'm with you, like, we are doing this together. Which, we love Fenris. Mm-hmm.
Bro, can everybody else also be there and with them, please?
I think chapter 4 was also like one of my favorite chapters that I've read so far. I just liked the dynamic between all of them.
Yeah.
I felt like it dove back into like sassiness, which made me so happy.
Manon and Dorian and the 13 are a fan favorite. Everyone freaks the fuck out. Mm-hmm. This is one of our very good friends' favorite two people in this whole series. Just doesn't care really about anybody else.
Just Manon and Dorian?
Yeah.
That's great.
It's Dex. Dex literally just does not give a shit about anybody else.
Fair. I mean, that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, it does. There's nothing that tracks more. Yeah. Muscle mommy Manon.
Yeah.
My mommy.
So the first half of this is Manon's POV, and it is pretty much describing like where they are at this point. Where in the world are the 13 and Dorian?
Where in the world is Kanye? Carmen Sandiego.
They are at the western edge of the White Fang Mountains. She's with the 13. We get told that Dorian's there, so we know they're still all together. They have not separated in these months. And right now, they are trying to find the remaining Kraken witches. That is Manon's goal. Dorian in the back is like, hey, what about that third word key, though? Like, we should probably get that,
I wasn't 100% certain, like, why Dorian actually went with them. Because, like, I get why Manon needs to go find the rest of the that's a whole nother fucking army they need to grab and put, you know?
His options were what? Go with Rowan and all of them to find Aelin, and then potentially him get taken in place of Aelin because he also is of the blood.
No, that's true. Because I don't think any of them would have let him go on his own. Like, realistically,
he wasn't going on his own.
He does kind of need to go on his own because, like, everyone else has other shit to do. But, like, he does have to find that word key and, like, figure out what the fuck he's got to do if Aelin's not able to do it.
Yeah, and he has pretty much at this point taken on the role of, like, Aelin is captured by Maeve. I'm the only one that can do this now. Because he has no idea what's going on with her.
This is why he's on team backup plan.
Yeah, he's team backup plan.
He's team plan B.
There is a little note, which I think is hilarious. So, Dorian fucks with his power all the time. Like, he's always just, like, making random things. He's creating ice, like, doing whatever in his hands. And he does little, like, magic tricks, pretty much, for Vesta. And Manon notices it and is jealous, pretty much, that Vesta desires Dorian. But also makes a note of, like, he's not mine. Like, Dorian can be with her if he wants. But then also is, like, mad that it's happening,
Manon
which I think is hilarious.
Is every single romance main male character when they finally realize that they actually have feelings and they don't know how to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm not jealous. She can go be with whoever she wants and also has internal rage at the thought of being with, and that person being with anybody else.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I love it so much when she's just like, he's not mine. Sure. Internal seething rage. Like, yes. Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
she
great.
pretty much tells herself, I can't be bothered with that because I have a thing I have to do, which is fair.
I'm
we love
busy.
that.
Yeah. Sure.
She is really I think it's great that she's like finally coming into her own in the sense that like she believes herself to be a Kraken queen. And she's like, I'm gonna find my people. And we're gonna fuck shit up. And I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it.
Yeah. We also get some very fun, like, little, I don't know, like, vignettes or whatever of, like, Dorian with all the different groups of the 13 that we've been introduced to, of, like, how Dorian feels about the twins, which is fucking creeped out a little bit, because they're the shadows, and, like, they're just a little weird. And, like, the same thing with Vesta, and there's, like, a little line of him and... my god, Asterin Cheese.
Yeah.
Took me a really long time to come up with her name in my brain. Which I loved. I liked that they had like little... I don't know, it was just like a little slice of life of like Dorian interacting with all of them briefly, like while going throughout his day.
There's also just like little things you pick up on when like Asterin can question Manon, but the other 13 can't. Dorian also questions Manon, and they all kind of are like, "You're not allowed to do that." Where like,
why has she not ripped your head off yet? How are you still alive?
Dorian will question Manon, and Asterin will be like, "Shut the fuck up," pretty much. Like, she'll answer of like she knows what she's doing, kind of thing, or like. But then Asterin will like maybe ask the same question of Manon.
But also that was a good question. Can I ask?
Yeah.
On his point that he stupidly mentioned.
Yeah. Fuck this boy.
I don't believe that was a dumb question, but like, do you have an answer?
Which I think is so great.
So great.
Because of course they all realize something's going on with him and Manon. But she won't admit it, and he won't admit it.
No.
But here we are.
I still think that Vesta's fucking doing it on purpose. Just to piss them both off.
I think Vesta's doing it because she wants Manon to admit to it. And she won't. She refuses. They all know that they just sneak off and like fuck too, which is great. Which I think is hilarious. We learn that from Dorian's POV. Same chapter, when it gets to Dorian's thing. He pretty much is like, everyone knows we sneak off and we slip away.
Yeah, because it also says that they're doing it like constantly.
Yeah, all the time. Every like fucking
super
other
noticeable.
Day. There is a note that we get a fun nickname that we learned a while ago that gets brought up again. How the Krakens had referred to her as the White Demon.
Yeah.
Because she is Kraken, but she also is kind of crossed with Volg. And so they see her as like Volg Demon, but also like in a lot of things, the like dark and light are considered like good and bad. I hate the comparison of like white, black being good, bad. It's not my favorite. But my gist from the verbiage of this is that she's like a good demon. Like she is Volg, but also part of Kraken, which is technically supposed to be like the good side of things. Granted, that could be it's just misinterpreting everything here.
I think it's the White Demon because she fucking killed all of them. Like, she is an actual fucking demon. Hair. Yeah. I think it's the white hair. Probably. I don't know.
I don't want to be ignorant in this idea that it is the white hair, because that makes me feel more comfortable as a white woman.
That she's not a white demon?
But this... No. Sorry. The concept of white demon being referred to as, like, good but also demon. Like, I don't want to misinterpret.
I don't think they mean it in a good way at all. I think she's a demon with white hair, and that's why she's called a white demon. She's the white demon because she's a fucking demon, and her defining feature is that she has white hair. If she had black hair, she'd probably be called a black demon.
Fair. That's fair.
I think it's just her defining feature. I'm sure someone can prove me wrong, but because she's also called Kinslayer, and they're like because the whole reason that this gets brought up is because she's still contemplating whether she doesn't believe that she should get have the honor of being followed by any of these people, and Astrid tells her you're the only person genuinely that can decide whether you deserve that honor or not. So take it or don't. We'll follow you, but you have to decide whether you are going to lead us. Because only she can do that. So then we get Dorian's POV. This sneaky little shit is doing exactly what he should be doing. This is my decision is he's being a sneaky shit for all of the right reasons. There's a line in this chapter where it's nobody questioned why Dorian so quickly and without resistance gave up the hunt for the third word key all of a sudden. You fucking dumbasses. What the fuck? Why? He is being so nice. He's being compliant. He's yeah, sure, let's go do that. Boy is, as quickly as physically possible, ditching all of these women so fast. Just at every turn, planning his escape. He is going to find his way to wherever the word key is. His first thing that he does is manages to slip Vesta's watch basically by just flirting with her to the point that she just looks the other way when he goes to pee for really long periods of time without anyone questioning it whatsoever, which is weird.
Yeah, it's he's been pretty much taking long walks every time Vesta's on watch, but he's been coming back, so she's it's just gonna be the same thing. So now he can go off and actually do what he needs to do.
He goes and summons Gavin.
Yay!
Which is a decision. Wow, because the two of them have been super helpful up until this point, Elena and Gavin. So,
to be fair, this is the first
time we get something.
Dorian is questioning, and Dorian is very good.
Yep,
he's very good at listening, as we have learned through all of the books.
Political baseball.
That's what I'm saying. He's very good at listening. So therefore, he knows where to hit and pinpoint to get a person to do what he wants them to do, essentially. Which
I also love this scene. He gives Gavin so much shit.
Yes.
He is I actually think, to me, this is one of the strongest conversations that Dorian has in terms of being a king, not letting people get away with doing things for what they think is the best in their own personal agenda, and not letting that previous generation get away with their accountability on this. He's Gavin tries to say if you interfere with what the gods are planning, it won't end well, and he's your wife did this, not the fucking gods. No, this is on you. And is calling him out for basically not being helpful because it's going to mean that he doesn't get to see Elena in the afterlife, despite the fact that he's condemning every fucking person that's alive on the continent right now. And he's would you do anything different? And he's yes, actually I fucking would, because I'm a king and I have to. What are you talking about? And Gavin's trying to convince him that Erewhon can be defeated without actually sealing the gate, so he can save everybody and not Elena can get away with her bullshit that she put them all in. I liked the conversation because previously Elena shows up, Gavin shows up, and Dorian legit just bows and is oh my god, these are the fabled kings and queens of my past, my ancestors. And now he's cut your bullshit. Where the fuck is the key? I got shit to do. I don't have time for any of your shit.
Yeah, he pretty much says to Gavin that he needs help and he needs to know where the third key is. And Gavin's I can't tell you.
I don't know.
And he's bullshit, you can't tell me. Well, if I tell you, it would be manipulating and the gods would frown upon that. And he's I don't give a shit. That's not my problem.
We don't have time for this.
My problem is I need the third word key because of your wife doing some dumb shit. So Are you gonna help me or no?
Exactly.
In the end, Gavin says something along the lines of like, once this happens, Elena is gone forever. Like, she has given up her afterlife, as we talked about. And Dorian pushes back, and he's like, she did it to herself, and you're aiding her in doing that. You aided her in doing that. And is her afterlife really worth more than everyone else's? And then he pretty much, in the end, begs Gavin to help. And Gavin tells him the key is at Morath. Dorian, of course, asks, could you be a little bit more specific? Gavin's like, I don't know the information. I just know that it's there. Which is terrifying. So that means Erewhon had 2 of them.
Yeah.
We never knew if Erewhon had 2. He now has 1. But he did at one point have 2.
Yeah.
And was waiting for the 3rd. So.
He does also mention that when he goes to search, that Damaris is not just some ornamental pretty sword. Mm-hmm. It's like, apparently it's like Sting in Lord of the Rings when it glows like a different color to alert you or some shit. So I don't know what it's going to do, but it's supposed to guide him in some way. Yeah, it warms when people are telling the truth or not.
Yeah.
But apparently it's going to also help him find the key. But then also says, don't go yet because you're not ready. But also you'll know when you're truly ready, which is just as unhelpful.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gavin.
Yep. He does end the conversation by asking Gavin, because he does play with this idea that he was sired while his father was being held captive by a Vogue. So technically his father was human and Vogue. So he asks Gavin, am I human? And Gavin's response is, I'm not the person who can answer that. And then vanishes. Of fucking course.
Thank you, Gavin.
This is the first time that, granted, I thought this at many points of time, because I was like, wasn't his dad, he was a kid, then he got married? So, like, he was Vogue and got married and then had children? So, like, what does that mean? Yeah. This is the first time that Dorian is verbalizing that in some manner, that it's been kind of eating away at him.
I think that it's an interesting concept. I just don't know if that's how that works.
I don't know. We don't know. Because we know the Vogue as like having to have a host in some manner. And that's what they were trying to do with the witches. But the witches also have Vogue in them. So like,
yeah, so like they could
have been the witches that have that.
They're already Vogue. So they can birth Vogue, being part Vogue. I don't know if it's like a human, but also one that's their mind is taken. Because that's the thing, is like, is it just their mind? Because it talks about like you basically get trapped in your own head. But like your body's still your body. You just can't control it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the big question mark. That now
and then also if he were a Vogue and then he got still taken over by a Vogue. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's why he needed a collar to control him, because he was that much more powerful.
Well, I mean, he also was very powerful, so I think he needed a collar anyway. Once magic was released, he was not going to be stopped. He's fucking strong as shit.
Fuck yeah,
and that is something that Manon notes on. Every time something happens in Manon's POV, it's like the back of her, she goes, God, he's really fucking strong.
Where the fuck did that come from, man?
It's like his magic is getting much more powerful.
You've just been hiding that down there?
It's great. We love it.
Next POV. Lorcan!
Should I do it since you hate him? Just kidding. But like,
here's the thing. I have words that I must have with our goddamn editor, because he called me out so fucking hard in the last episode I gotta find, what the fuck did he actually say? Because I was genuinely like, Jesus Christ, come at me a little harder, bitch. Jeez. What does it say? Ah, here we go. Keep this in the fucking episode, because you wrote this, okay? So you better let this stay in, Flip, swear to God. I thought it was just Chaol, but I am seeing a pattern now. That if Rachel is done with you because of some bullshit you pulled, she will not try to empathize. With Lorcan now, Kat's like, well, think of this perspective. Rachel, nope, not giving him any breaks. He sucks. Fuck him. Rotten hell. Kat says, well, there's a lore reason why he does things. Rachel, no, you're giving him too much credit. He's literal scum. Thank God I pulled out of Rachel's shit list after that first impression I left on her. Okay, I just... One, these are fictional characters, and I get to have my fucking rage reactions to fictional characters. Not to you, Flip. Also, you were a genuine dick the first time that we met, so that I get credit for, okay? That, you were mean. Cruel, okay? I just want it known, okay, that I don't hate him that much, okay? He makes me, I have the reactions of where it is in the book. It's where we are. At the time, I'm very angry because he did a really fucking stupid, fucked up, evil, terrible thing. Mm-hmm. Now, in this POV, we get a little bit more context, you know, like the context that I don't get to say that I have because I've read these fucking books already and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, okay? So I give you my reaction at the time that I do the thing. If you don't like it, Flip, fuck off. Please still be our editor, but don't come for me in our DMs, bitch. Damn. A lot of this POV for Lorcan is him thinking about Elide. To be completely honest, it's 90% Elide. But the one bit that we do get in this, which I love, is they have a conversation, and Elide like calls him out during the conversation and is like, "You still crawled for her," and Lorcan says, "I crawled after Aelin, not Maeve."
Because from her point of view in that scenario, he was writhing in pain, and so she assumed that he
crawling
was
in that direction.
So disheartened with the blood oath being broken that he was crawling towards Maeve, when instead he was crawling to help Aelin.
Okay, so now with the added context that I'm now allowed to know and react to because I have fucking prior knowledge, okay? I get it. He fucked up, okay? He fucked up real bad, and he deserves to be shit on for the next however many pages he gets shit on for, okay? And I'm here for it. Yes. Am I totally opposed to the redemption story? No, okay? I'm sure Chaol will do some fucking dumb shit in this book, too, because it's Chaol. He's gonna do dumbass shit. Mm-hmm. Lorcan will probably also continue to do dumb shit, because they're men. Fair. I feel like Sarah J. Maas just picked two characters and was like, these are the two that are just gonna continue to fuck up constantly, and they're gonna make you angry on a regular basis. Their names are Lorcan and Chaol, and enjoy the ride. We're on it.
So in Lorcan's POV, we kind of get a little bit more information about where they are currently as well. So we learned earlier from Elide's point of view that we were questioning commanders. Like, this group was questioning commanders of, like, Fae commanders specifically, to try to figure out where Maeve is. Like, that was their MO, like, trying to get to where Maeve and Aelin are. Because we know, or they assume, Maeve is going to keep Aelin very close to her. But they don't know where Maeve is. And let's be honest, she's not going to let Aelin out and about. So they're not going to get any, like, news or word that Aelin was seen somewhere in Doranel or wherever. The last commander that Elide was told by Anya to listen to pretty much said that Maeve is at Doranel.
Yeah, that she took
Aelin
to Doranel. And that contradicts what
the first commander
said. Yeah, their previous information. So now they basically have got like a 50-50 shot. Where do we go?
They don't know where to go. Doranel is further away. Elide believes that Aelin and Maeve are in Doranel. And so she argues pretty much with Lorcan and Rowan and Gavrial to pretty much say, like, hey, no. Anya pretty much told me to listen to this guy, and I think that's why.
And they do not believe that it would be possible for her to keep Aelin in Doranel and, like, conceal her. Like, someone would know. They would feel it, like, that, her power, they just don't believe it, that they would be able to keep her hidden. Elide's response is, well, she managed to conceal Gavrial and Fenris from Rowan in Skull's Bay, and also somehow hid and spirited away her entire fleet. So
maybe she's stronger than
it's really not that surprising that she'd be able to hide Aelin in Doranel, which I fucking agree.
I also
agree. So, it's fine. The boys are gonna make their decision.
Yeah, pretty much. The Elide and Lorcan were talking. Elide pretty much says, like, Lorcan knows that Elide is disappointed in him, and he notes that there's, like, a hole in his heart because of it. And it also talks about he thought he loved Maeve, but nothing compares to how he feels towards Elide. He does not say he loves Elide. We know he does. But nothing feels the same as how he's felt towards Elide. Especially with Elide being so disappointed in him. It, like, breaks him more than anything else could. And it is noted that he does not give a shit about the Blood Oath. He did not give a shit about the Blood Oath. The second he met Elide, the Blood Oath was like, this is just a thing that now is part of me. And he was grateful for it to be gone. And then we switch to Rowan's POV. And he, unfortunately, is also dreaming. We need to stop having nightmares. Rowan's sleeping, finally. And so he is having a recurring nightmare of seeing Aelin on the other side of, like, a ravine type thing. Or a chasm. Pretty much he can't get to her. He tries to change into his hawk form to fly across, and he has no magic. He is in his Fae form. It's too far for him to jump. And so he just, like, drops to his knees. He's unable to reach her. She turns around to face him, and she has, like, a pregnant belly. And then 4 kids, like, run up to her. And then all of a sudden, the one looks scared and, like, glances at Aelin in warning. And then they are washed away and swept over by a dark shadow, and only dust and shadow remained. So he pretty much has this scene of, now we know could be Maeve's power or Erewhon's power taking his family away from him, which is so awful. So he wakes up while Gavrial was on watch, and pretty much decides to switch places with Gavrial, because he's like, I'm not fucking going back to sleep now. Might as well let Gavrial rest.
Yeah. They're resting. They've decided that they're going to go to Acadia, which is south. That, like, Elide and Lorcan basically had a fight about the decision because Lorcan pushed to go to Acadia because they had already come this far south. If they had gone north to Doranel and then realized they were wrong, they'd have to come all the way back down south. And, like, the decision's obviously, like, on weighing on Rowan as well. Because if he goes, you know, it's the same way either way. It's like they go south and they find her. They go south and they don't find her. They've wasted time. More time that they have been apart. He like beats himself up too for like not realizing that she was his mate. That like he should have realized it. She realized it, but he was like too swept up in like his grief and shit with, you know, also his trauma that Maeve put him through with his former wife and child. It's great. So
he also like he feels like he should have known that Lyra wasn't his mate because Lyra was scared of him when they first met. Because she was human,
and that it was
right?
hard like to court her. Like she
it was very difficult.
Didn't feel the same.
Yeah. It makes me sad that he looks back. So he has these like contradicting thoughts towards Lyra. He loved her, like he truly did. But it also sounds like the way he makes it seem is like, I regret that part because she wasn't actually my mate. But then he comes back and like, no, I truly did love her and care for her, and she loved me and cared for me. We may not have been mates, but like, you can still care for a person. You can still love a person. It's like when you go through relationships in life, like you can still care for people that you have dated and still have love for them, while also knowing that a new person that you're with or the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with is someone you love more and care for more. It's just a different level.
I think that he less regrets loving her and more regrets that loving her got her killed.
Yeah.
Being with him is literally like she was genuinely just there to be murdered and hurt him eventually. That was her entire purpose. That was
and exactly she was still pregnant with his child.
Right. She was just chosen, and that was the person that he was going to fall in love with, and then she was going to die pregnant. That was it. And he will never get over that.
Yeah. So sad.
That's fucking brutal and horrific.
He also is realizing that he felt the pain when she was, he felt the pain when she was whipped or something like that. But then
it was when she got stabbed.
Oh, by Dorian. Yeah.
Yes. So when they were in the castle many books ago, she got stabbed and he could feel it. And then she could also feel it when he got hit with the arrow. He couldn't feel anything
when she was getting attacked. Yeah, when she was being attacked on the beach.
He can't feel anything now, but he can still feel the bond. So like he knows that she's not dead, because then he would know, like he would be able to feel it through the bond.
Yeah,
but he can't sense her or figure out where she is because there's no connection there other than the fact that it's still there.
He ultimately, like you said, they choose to go to Acadia. He chooses to go to Acadia because it's closer. If they go north, it'll take them 2 weeks. This will take them a couple of days. And if they don't check here to go north, he feels like he'll regret it if he's not there.
Yeah. Because it would need more time.
Dorian. Yeah.
Waste 2 days now, potentially waste weeks.
Yeah.
It does make sense, as much as it sucks.
He replays pretty much everything that Elide told him that Aelin had said to her before she was taken. That tell him he has to fight, he must save Terrasen and remember the vows he made to me. He's pretty much going against a lot of the vows that he made to her. Not the vows in like marriage, but the vows of like, you need to go to the north and protect Terrasen. And he's like, fuck that, I'm coming to get you. I don't know what you thought was going to happen, but that was not it.
He's got Lysandra up there with Aedion. They'll be fine.
I love this little scene because it is, again, he is now developing he is now the king
consort.
king consort of
Well,
Terrasen.
technically he's not, because she's not queen yet, because she has to, whatever, because Darrow's a fucking piece of shit, but it's fine. Basically, he's a king.
He
consort.
is our king of Terrasen.
He's our king of Terrasen.
He looks to the Lord of the North in the stars, which I think is such a lovely little thing.
Yeah.
Rowan silently swore it to the stars. He could have swore the Lord of the North flickered in response. Which to me is like, the Lord of the North has been playing as this like thing that has been guiding Aelin and protecting her for so long. We know that Elena is like a big part of it, but I really think I think she's alive because of the Lord of the North. I don't know. It just feels like that's always the thing. That's always the beacon. That's always the thing that's keeping her alive and keeping her around. And
we like the Lord of the North because he's not a god like the rest of them. He's supposed to be like the spiritual embodiment of like the magic that exists in the land.
Yeah.
So he's not like those shitty gods that we are mad at the moment.
Yeah. It's almost like Rowan has promised him, I'm going to get her back. And he's like, yeah, I believe you. You are.
He literally says, an immortal life they would share together somehow. He'd allow no other alternative. Fuck yeah. Go get your wife.
So, it's Chaol time. They are on their way. Finally. God damn. Everyone's in the same fucking book. They are finally on their way. So
they're not all in the same place, that's for sure.
Chaol's on a ship with Yrene, with a fleet of Coggin ships following them, 1,000 rooks also on those ships, flying off and doing patrols every once in a while. Like they're traveling. They've been traveling for a month, and they've hit winter. We know it's cold there too, so like this is all happening at the same time as everyone else, and they are moving. They're like pretty close to the coast of Fenharrow. Like we're getting close, which we love. Yeah. They have not run into any of Erewhon's troops, fleets, nothing. But now that they're getting close to the coast, Nesryn and Sartak set out to go on like a scouting mission, because they're now within like a week's time of like landfall. So they're kind of flying ahead so that they don't get like ambushed by anyone on land or on the coasts or whatever. So they go and do that. Chaol and Yrene have a little like
they're being
tee-hee
cute
moment of being on. He goes up on kind of a balcony or like the edge at the top of the ship. He's outside and it's cold. She comes out. Oh, it's real cold out here. And he's like, should I not be taking my wife to the north? Because like Antica has made you weak. Like
he says the cold builds character. She's like, so spoken like a man from the north.
It's so good.
He says, am I not keeping you warm enough these days, wife? She like elbows him, calls him a cad. They're being very cute. He's like very happy that he gets to call her wife, and that they're like on the ship together and they're traveling, and you know, it's adorable. Whatever. They're still both concerned. They do like they have been starting to notice she uses her healing powers. He like starts to have trouble walking. He's been training in his chair so that if something like that happens, that he still has like an alternative, which is very cool, very awesome.
Progress for Chaol.
Yeah. He's like not concerned about it at all. He seems very happy, which like I'm very happy for him. He seems like he's in a very good place.
He's at peace with the fact that he is forever going to be injured.
Yes. Or at least having to deal with the injury, like forever. That it's not something that's just ever going to be fixed.
Yeah. Granted, the only thing he really hates about this whole thing is, of course, Yrene had to bargain to be able to save his life. And
well, it puts Yrene in danger.
Yes, that means it puts her in danger. Because if he were to die, she also dies in turn, and vice versa. Granted, he doesn't think that she's going to be, like, on the front lines. So, like, it wouldn't be that she dies and he dies because of it. It would be, he's on the front lines, he is scared that he's going to get hurt and die, and then that would, in turn, make Yrene lose her life. Which, you know...
It's possible.
Shitty. Not great. Not a great scenario. When one person
I think Irene's potentially in more danger than Chaol.
I think that as well. Chaol, however, does not. Let's be honest. Chaol thinks that he is going to die in battle, and it is in turn going to kill Yrene.
I think that he finds the chair a problem in terms of he believes that it poses a risk to her.
Okay, that's fair.
Not that he has a problem with being in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
But if he dies because he's not able to defend himself the way that he used to be able to because of the chair, I think that's the only part that he actually gives a shit about.
Yeah.
He also, they like talk about Nesryn and Sartak, that they are going on scouting missions so that the ships can basically travel and they don't run into anybody.
Yeah, they're getting close enough to Moor now, so they want to make sure wherever they dock, it will be safe for them. And that's kind of that. I don't know. They chat. It's cute. They do cute things. They talk about the rooks and their riders. They say, I love you.
It's their, like, little setting the scene intro to where they're at, which is nice.
And then we pop over to Nesryn.
Yeah.
Which is much more fun.
Yep. She's flying with the rooks.
Mm-hmm.
She's with Sartak.
And she's being referred to as the soon-to-be future Empress of the Cognate.
Which she is so stoked to get about and is totally chill with and doesn't at all resist in any way whatsoever. She's like, no, I don't think that's possible. We don't need to do that. And he's like, you're going to look so good in all the jewels and finery. And she's like, what are you talking about? Please no. I think she says precious.
To rule beside him as the future Empress of the Cognate, it was absurd, of course, the idea of her dressed like his mother in those sweeping, beautiful robes and grand headdresses. No, she was better suited to the rookin leathers, to the weight of steel, not jewels. She'd said as much to Sartak many times. He'd laughed her off, had said she might walk around the palace naked if she wished. What she wore or didn't wear wouldn't bother him in the least. But it was still a ridiculous notion, one the prince seemed to think was the only course for their future. He'd staked his crown on it, had told his father that if being prince meant not being with her, then he'd walk away from the throne. The Coggan had offered him the title of heir instead. Which is the greatest. I think...
It's so good.
That is my favorite... It's my favorite information about the Coggan. Like, I had a feeling that the Coggan was, like, ultimately good.
I do like that
in the background there's all this bad shit happening.
Yeah, I do like that he was kind of just like, oh, you're serious? Okay, cool, bet. We're doing it.
Cool, that was my test. Got it, cool. You're great.
You passed.
It's so great. So Nesryn and Sartak are out on watch. They're doing their, like, recon.
Recon. You had it.
They're doing their recon to try to make sure that they can, you know, moor at this location.
Not get caught.
Yeah. Falcon is also with them, and Falcon is, like, in, I don't know, some bird form. A hawk, a falcon, something.
Yeah.
He kind of flies ahead because he can fly faster than the rooks because he's teeny tiny comparatively. Mm-hmm. And he notices something, and he kind of, like, turns towards them, eyes them, and then they kind of separate a little to like get a closer look.
Yeah.
What they see is just charred lands on the coast of Fenharrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look like that they were burned for any particular purpose. So like they could have burned like all of their veg to like make sure they didn't have food, or just attack the houses, or to like flush out people. They just, without any real
There's
method,
no tactical reason,
burned everything as
Fire.
they were going through for their own enjoyment. They flew a little bit lower, and then they noticed that there were a bunch of foot soldiers and an army like marching. But they did also notice that there were a few stragglers. There were like a group of 6 of them kind of off to the side, I don't know, behind the larger group. And they decided, we're going to go and swoop down and see what the fuck is up with that. So instead of turning away, Sartak, Nesryn, and Falcon all dive directly towards these 6 soldiers who happen to be Volg soldiers. At least we assume that they're Volg soldiers. We don't know exactly, but we're assuming that's what's happening.
Either way, they're the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah, very likely the enemy. That's all we get from that interaction. We just know that they're diving towards 6 potentially Volg soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to
last
Yrene's
POV of this chapter.
POV. Yrene is panicking about supplies, as she kind of has been this entire trip. So she goes over to some of the other ships to count all the supplies. Hafiza catches her and is like, the fuck are you doing? And Hafiza's like,
counting our supplies.
It's the same amount of supplies that were there yesterday. We have not got into any fights. So clearly, nothing has changed. It's gonna be the same. We don't have any additional things to make more supplies, so like, it's not gonna be a higher number. What are you doing?
Could there be any reason? Could there be any reason, Yrene, that you could be aggressively counting healing supplies out of, anxiety for any major event that may be coming up now in your life?
She pretty much tells the healer on high, or Hafiza, that I need to do something, and Hafiza pretty much says, you will. Soon enough, you will. As Hafiza leaves. She didn't tell the healer on high that she wasn't entirely sure how much longer she'd be a help. Not yet. Hadn't whispered a word of that doubt to anyone, even Chaol. Yrene's hand drifted across her abdomen and lingered. I swear to God, Sarah. Fuck off. Fuck off with this bullshit. I wrote, Yrene is fucking pregnant. Fuck off. Can we not just go to war and get pregnant afterwards? I don't know. I don't know. Chaol making... It's going to lead to Chaol making decisions because Yrene is now pregnant, and so now he has to protect her and his child, and this is going to be bullshit, and I'm mad about it. I'm mad. I'm angry. Can we not just wait? They know they're going to war. Yrene knows for a fact that Chaol is going to be on the front lines, could potentially die, so now she's putting her soon-to-be child's life at risk as well. Because if she dies, her fetus dies as well. It's not like it's gonna live on without her. That's not how that shit works.
I have such mixed feelings about this, yes, you're going to war, but does that mean life stops? And also they
just got married. They've been married for 1 month.
That's normal. My parents had me I was born 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day after my parents got married.
Your parents weren't going to war.
But like, well, I don't. Hold on a second now. We were in a war, for sure.
Neither of your parents were going to that war or fighting in it directly. I mean,
like, I totally get it. I think, but like, you could say the same thing for Aelin.
She's supposed to be the smart one.
I mean, she's supposed to be the healer. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, if she had made a conscious decision, they made a conscious decision not to take the contraceptives and were like, we still want to have a child because it's worth it. Great. Awesome. I think it's a little too soon. Only because I feel like Yrene plays too much of a... I think it's just, it doesn't have anything to do with like how long they've been married. It's more of Yrene is supposed to play a pivotal role in being a healer and healing people. And now she's going to also have to protect her child, which I get. Yeah, I'm here for the danger bit of it. Of, I think you are potentially endangering your child, or you're endangering everybody else by now needing to protect your child instead of just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what
Aelin,
happens,
but I still hate this idea of like, let's throw in a pregnancy because it makes just for funsies. For Aelin, it would have been a strategic move to then also still have an heir to her throne, because she knew that her life was at stake. That's why I'm saying
it would not have been a surprise pregnancy. They were trying. They would not. She said she would not deny her kingdom a chance at an heir. Exactly. They're so rare. I just want the clarity one feels of whether they meant for it or not.
This one is a why. This is stupid. This makes me mad.
But of Yrene, all of the people, even of all of the couples, it makes sense that it would be them.
The first time they slept together, she goes, I'm taking a salve. I know better. I'm smart enough. Yep. Like, and then this bullshit. Like, so you consciously said, we're sailing to war right now. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna stop taking this salve.
Or she forgot it because she was.
She didn't forget it. Other shit. Okay. There's no chance in hell. This was.
They got a lot of other shit going on.
They're in their happy little bubble currently. Yep. No shit is happening on their end. They're still in there. They have not even gotten to the shit that's happening. Mm-hmm. They have all the backstory. And they have information to bring.
I mean, to be fair, up until this point, Yrene was like actively being hunted. And there was someone that was killing people in... It's not nearly as bad as what's going on where they're going. But they weren't like in a happy little bubble.
A little bit. There were many times that they were just like blissfully unaware of all the things happening around them.
Yeah, there were a lot of chapters where we were reading the tandem read, and it was like, Aelin blew up a city, Chaol and Yrene are in bed.
Snuggling.
Okay, cool.
And we're like,
that's great. Can y'all fucking get your shit together, please? Get an army and let's get going.
Yeah. So, I'm mad. I'm mad at Yrene. She's supposed to be my favorite character, and now I'm mad at her.
Well, she's a flawed individual.
There was a whole book I defended you, Yrene. An entire book. A book that a lot of people don't like. And I defended you so much.
She's still the best part of that book.
And then you pull this shit. I'm not happy. Disappointed. I'd rather Manon be pregnant, because that shit would be cool. If Dorian and Manon had a kid, I'm on board. Yes, please.
I don't know how the fuck she would react to that.
I don't think she'd be happy about it.
I think she'd be confused.
I still think if that was the trope, I would be on unhappy.
Board. I think she'd be like, I don't know what to do. She'd have to like have conversations with Astrid of like, how do I take care of a child?
How do I be pregnant?
What's gentle parenting? Can you explain that to me? I don't think I understand the concept. Just give me a play-by-play.
This is
she starts training.
I would be on board with that.
Not taking parenting class, training. Like Treating it like training.
Yep.
Amazing. Well,
This
speaking of
feels
those
like
two,
some bullshit. But yeah,
I'm
let's go
so
hang out
sorry.
with Dorian. Because this chapter I liked. I got bullshit, and then I liked this chapter. A lot.
I almost... What chapter was it? Yeah, 7
This is
was,
the one.
I think, almost the chapter that I said we should stop at. I couldn't remember whether it was this one or the one before. I don't think I would have been so mean as to decide to stop on a chapter where someone said they might be pregnant. That would... You would have been very upset.
Mm-hmm. I'm still
Anyways,
upset.
moving on. No, I know.
Anytime I see Chaol's name, I'm going to be mad at the chapter ahead of time now. Because of Yrene. Which is now... this backwards of my mindset.
That's a very different change, yeah. I'm sure she will redeem herself. Or Chaol will do something extra stupid, and then you'll be mad at Chaol instead of Yrene.
Well, see, this gives him the opportunity to be extra stupid. Because now he has to think of another potential life.
Are you more mad at Yrene for getting pregnant, or are you more mad at Chaol's potential to be a fucking idiot now?
Both.
Are you more mad that she got pregnant accidentally, or are you more mad that she has now given Chaol a reason to be a dick, and us be mad about how he's just being protective?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Well, I don't know if I'm more mad at that. I am mad at that because that is the scenario that's gonna happen.
Right. But you're more mad at just Yrene in general getting accidentally pregnant. Yeah.
Because she's smarter than this.
Yep.
She knows it's her job to know how to prevent this.
You are a disappointed mother currently in your teenage daughter's teenage pregnancy. You're like, you know better. I'm disappointed. I've taught you better than this.
Let's go to Dorian because he makes me happy. Dorian is doing shit. He's getting shit done.
Let's go to Dorian because he's not pregnant.
He's going to Morath. He has made the decision that he's going to go to Morath and he's going to get the third key. He has no idea how he's getting there. He does not know if the 13 is going to go with him, but he's going to get this key.
He doesn't particularly care. He has a mission and he's sticking to it.
He was told by Gavin to stay in this location because he will figure out how to get there or when it is time for him to get there. This is kind of sort of when we figure out, oh, okay, I understand now.
This
one
is
of
what
our
you
things.
Meant. Got
it is a short turnaround to actually figuring
Yeah.
out what one of these people actually means when they say things coded.
Yeah.
He, I thought was very funny. He's like, oh, he gets back and they're like packing up, ready to head out. And he's like, well, I can't. I don't think I'm going to be able to convince them to stop.
Let's just delay this a little longer.
Yeah, let's just delay them a little bit. And so he just slowly starts using his magic to fuck with shit, which is hilarious. Meanwhile,
like unbuckles people's like fucking harnesses for their
wyverns
and shit.
It's
people are
so
like, what the
funny.
fuck is going on?
He's having a full-blown conversation with Manon, asking questions. Astron's there too, talking about their next move, where they're gonna go. He's asking questions to kind of like sort of distract them. Well, meanwhile, Vesta's hooking up her harness to her wyvern, and then she goes to climb on and the thing snaps open and she gets like frustrated and gets down and fixes it. And then next it's like Sorrel, and then next it's someone else, and it's just like he's just fucking with little things, so they have to keep getting off their wyvern to like do a thing, which is it's such an innocent thing,
funny,
but it's so funny. It's so good. Meanwhile, he's still trying to figure out a delay. Lucky for him, he does not have to think of a delay anymore because Abraxos starts roaring in like not pain, but like alert to alert them to something. He's mad. And a bear comes leaping out of the woods towards Manon. And he notices...
Like, fuck that!
Yeah. Dorian notices, and Dorian's immediately shifts his power from fucking with everyone else to holding back this bear, who then, in a flash of light that he is very familiar with because of Lysandra, shifts into a Stygian spider. And this Stygian spider happens to be the one that Manon and Abraxos stole some spider silk from. Whoopsies.
Oops.
Mm-hmm. And
It
so
also happens to be the same one that made the deal with Falcon,
mm-hmm.
which is how she can shapeshift.
Yes, we learn.
Which is fucking terrifying.
Yes.
What a horrifying concept that the spiders can get powers similar to the people that they make deals with.
Yeah.
Cool.
So pretty much the spider says something along the lines of, when we make deals with people who have magic and we take part of their soul or their life, we get part of their magic. And so once magic, like the
idea
hold on
like
magic was lifted, she was able to...
Their magic is like part of their life force. So because Falcon made the deal for 20 years of his life, it was part of his life force that got transferred, and thus the magic being part of it. Which does kind of make sense. I'm here for that logic.
It's sick. I think it's really fucking cool. It's terrifying, but I still think it's really fucking cool.
Yeah. Dorian starts contemplating, what can I do with that?
Shift. During this whole time, too, he's holding Damaris. Like, he has a hand on Damaris, his knife. And
he kind
every
of
time a
does.
question is asked to tell if someone's telling the truth, it warms, and he, in his internal kind of dialogue, says they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
So he's learning how to read people along with this knife that pretty much tells him if someone's telling the truth or not.
They question the spider. The spider gives them just exactly what they were looking for, which they're immediately suspicious of, and tells them that the spider knows where some Krakens are and where they're being held. Because they've been captured or something. And they are all like, this seems like a trap and too good to be true. But they also can't really risk not going and looking. They also want to kill the spider, and Dorian stops them. Tells them not to, because the spider may have more information that they can get out of it. Which is not technically a lie. He just wants different information than he makes them believe. Dorian kind of starts...
also offers to show them where the Kraken are.
To take them. Dorian has a theory that he can use his magic similar to the way that the shapeshifter used his magic. And is like impressed that the spider figured out how to shapeshift so quickly. And it's like, let's talk. Let's have a chat.
He also believes the spider is the way into Morath. It can shapeshift. He says, and this a way into Morath as something else entirely, in another's skin. Perhaps a human slave, like Elide Lorcan. Someone whose presence would go unmarked. Granted, I don't think the spider should change to be Elide, because I think that's a can of worms we don't want to open. But this idea of pretending to be someone benign that no one would even second guess being there is pretty good. Would be a good plan. Who knows if he'll be able to convince her, but my assumption is he might offer part of his life and then she'll get some of his magic, which we don't want either. At least I don't want that
and Manon
to be a thing.
I like that she calls him out on that shit again, because like he does seem like he's getting better, and that like I think he just has a purpose, which is scary. he seems very committed to his purpose, which will end in him giving up his life. So hopefully she can get to him.
Yes.
And that he doesn't do that.
I want to read their little argument they have because I think it's very great the way Dorian like counters Manon.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing Dorian does, which to me feels like very much a sign of a king, a good king, is he asks if the spider has a name. And she responds, "You're not going to be able to pretty much pronounce my name, but you can call me Yrene." Manon grounds her teeth. "It doesn't matter what we call you, as you'll be dead soon." But Dorian cut her a sidelong glance. "The runes are a part of my kingdom. As such, Yrene is one of my subjects. I think that gives me the right to decide whether she lives or dies." "You are both at the mercy of my coven," Manon snarled. "Step aside." Dorian gave her a slight smile. "Am I?" A wind colder than the mountain air filled the pass. He flares his power at them all with the knowledge of, like, I could kill all of you right now by suffocating you, pretty much.
I think that they don't. They forget
How strong he
is. Because he's unassuming. Because he would not hurt them unless he had to. And it would really be like a life or death thing. And she's like, "You're at my mercy." And he's like, "Bitch, no, I'm not." Like, "I will take what I want if I have to." Like, no. This will not be a fun fight for any of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
I just love that.
But then the thing that I hate that he does after that is he like she
tries
to talk to him about it.
Okay,
she says,
which is very nice.
"You're different today." And his response is, "If you want someone to warm your bed who cowers at your every word and obeys your every command, look elsewhere." And she's like, "I'm still not convinced that I shouldn't kill her." And then he deflects again and says, "What would it take, Witchling, to convince you?" He didn't bother to hide his central promise in his words, nor the edge. It's like he pushes his power and like shows his strength. And then she's like, "Okay." She notices though that it's like that's off in that like he normally wouldn't do it as a show of power. He would like have a negotiation or have some sort of quip or like funny joke to like convince them. And she's like, "That was aggressive." And he's like, "Do you want someone to just cower at you?" And then like tries to deflect with sex after. And she's just like, bullshit, fam. What? Who are you? What is this shit? I think that it's so interesting that she, like, Manon has empathy. She, like, read him like a fucking book and is like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm fine. Don't test me." She's like,
"Don't
okay.
question me at all.
We'll talk about that later."
She transforms back into, like, a woman for traveling.
Yeah, she transforms into a completely naked woman, and Manon's, like, rolling her eyes, basically. It's like, all right, cool.
And when she shifts in the night to rip us apart, Dorian only inclined his head. She won't. Yrene sucked in a breath, a rare gift of magic. Her stare turned ravenous.
It says Dorian only inclined his head, ice dancing at his fingertips, which is what she's referring to.
Her stare turned ravenous as she took in Dorian for a rare king. She wants his power. 100%. I also think he's, like, binding her slightly with his power. Because later, it's like, it referred to him, like, pulling her along with them.
Yeah.
After they wrap her with a cloak.
I think he's playing her for sure. It's like showing enough of his power to entice her into wanting to make a deal with him. Hopefully he will not make a deal for something fucking stupid. And will instead trick her, like Manon did. Please, God.
Yes.
Don't be dumb.
Which is what I believe Manon is catching on to.
Yeah.
Manon's like, "Hey, what's going on there, bud.
Mm-hmm.
So we
At
get
the-
left with go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, at the end of this chapter, it kind of wraps up with Manon turning to the 13, and they're like going to go and find the Krakens. They're like, if we leave now, we can make it there by nightfall. And then Astrid says, and what then? And Manon says, and then we make our move. Manon hedged, and for once she did not meet anyone's stare, did not do anything but gaze southward. The witch was keeping secrets too, but were hers as dire as his. Cool, ominous. What the fuck does that mean? Let's just move on to the next chapter where we talk about Aelin, and then I guess we'll get back to that eventually. Cool. Sick.
Yeah, that's
this whole book, man. It's so fun. Ominous.
We
final
know
sentence.
what
move
Dorian's plan is. Dorian is getting the third word key. That is, he has like made an oath to himself.
It's gonna go to Morath.
He's doing it. Whether they go with him or not, which I don't think Manon is gonna let him go by himself. That's not gonna.
I don't think she's gonna send the 13 to go do that though.
I don't necessarily think so, but I don't think Manon is gonna be like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I think she'll send the 13
to the Krakens
away, and she'll go with him.
Mm-hmm.
Or she'll send one of the other 13 with him.
The shadows.
Maybe Vesta can go. They get along great.
Yeah, that'll go great. So, Aelin is still in an iron box. Or she's back in an iron box because she gets taken out, tortured, healed, put back in iron box. It's kind of the cycle we're learning. So, right now, Aelin inside iron box.
She's in a
She
box.
does realize that they didn't put the gauntlets on her.
Mm-hmm.
That either Karen forgot or just didn't do it this time. She like runs her fingers along the edges of the iron box, notes that there's like engravings, and this box was created for her. There are engravings inside of like the sun and fire and kind of like everything that is her.
It would be like what you would put on a child's bedroom ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Except it's in her torture box.
Yep.
It's
just
great.
to remind her that this was created for you. The plan was always to take you and capture you. And now here we are. I won, kind of thing. And everything that Maeve does is to manipulate her into thinking that she is by herself, she is alone, no one is coming to save her, I have won, you need to just submit to me, pretty much. And you need to take the blood oath, and you need to tell me what those word keys are.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me thinks that this story could take a fucking left turn, and Maeve could be like, I'm gonna get the word keys and banish Erewhon, and then it's just me. And then you don't, like, if we leave each other alone, that'll be fine. It's great. Perfect. Awesome. But then, now that she has Aelin, I think she's gonna be greedy. Because she's Maeve. But at one point, before she took Aelin and put her in a box, I was like, maybe Maeve also wants Erewhon gone. So, like, she'll take the word keys, or we'll do it together. Word keys, banish Erewhon. See ya. Stay away. And then,
yeah, I really don't understand why. That could be a whole nother conversation, dude. Of like, I don't understand why Maeve, if she wanted him gone so bad. The problem was that she didn't want him just gone. She wanted him gone, and then also so that she could go and be queen of other places.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what she knew Aelin would probably never be down with. So, yeah. And like Maeve wanted the keys. She wouldn't have been good. I don't think Aelin would ever have let her have the keys. She would have been like, fine, if we'll banish Erewhon for you.
We'll do it together.
We'll take the keys.
I'll have the keys.
We'll banish, and then I'll leave you alone. But she's like, Aelin will still have the keys. Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, it's torture time.
Yeah.
Karen comes in. He tells Fenris to go pee. Thanks, Karen. And then Varric, who's another one of the old Karanon, comes in,
Cadre.
holds a knife. Sorry, cadre, you're right. My bad. One of the old cadre comes in and holds a knife to Fenris's throat and basically threatens him because they have to get Aelin out of the box and transport her. So she's not going to let Fenris die. So they threaten him. And the whole time they're like taking her out of the box, taking her somewhere. And she's like, her brain is just like, run away. She's fucking exhausted. Couldn't do anything, even if she wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And she just can't. And then they bring her to Maeve, which is great.
Yep. Right to her throne room.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have a bullshit glass room.
Nope.
But she does have
glass
a bullshit
room.
Throne.
What a classic.
Room as well. As they approach the dais where Maeve is sitting atop her stone throne, because everything around her is stone, because she's terrified of fire. There's something shiny on the floor. And they realize that it is a circle laid out with thick shards of glass. And
we also
Maeve's... Go ahead.
We also realized that she is in Dorno, because she brings her into the throne room that they were at before. And, like, she describes, like, recognizing the throne room and the stone veranda, which sucks because we know that Team Get Our Bitch Back is going in the wrong direction for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we listen to Elide, guys. Maybe let's listen to the women in our lives.
Maybe we just listen to the god that kind of, like, told you where the fuck to go, but no one believes that, so it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So she is being pushed into shattered glass. She gets pushed forward by Karen.
They also they found the old fairy crown. That's Maeve's like Aelin's crown, basically. And put it on her head and push her down into the glass. So she's basically got her crown on her head, kneeling in front of Maeve. Which is so great.
Yeah, it's really fun. Really like it a lot. So she is in a world of pain with glass cutting into her knees, legs, feet, cuts everywhere, kind of thing. A whole lot of shit happens. Maeve talks a lot of shit and then pretty much says, hey, do this thing, Aelin, and she doesn't respond, and then she says, Karen, do a thing, and Karen pushes down on her shoulders, so she goes into the glass more, and then he stops. Fenris is growling. Maeve is talking more because bad guys talk a lot.
She's
pretty much saying
and
that
being a bitch.
Rowan is not coming with you. He was seen in the north, coming for you. I got word of like a disguise, a fake Aelin being in the north. She's like, how convenient.
Yeah. Basically knows like, oh, you have a shapeshifter, and tells her that Rowan's up there as well.
Yes.
And she's
really trying to get her to crack.
Yeah. Because she wants her to think that Rowan's not coming for her.
Correct.
And although we know that that's fucking lies.
Correct.
You bitch. But she's also like, it's exactly what I told him to do. But she also didn't believe that he would actually do it. I don't know why she believes her, but also she's being tortured, so she gets to believe whatever she wants. Her brain's fighting so hard.
It's also she told, granted, if you know Rowan at all, he's not gonna fucking go north, whether you tell him or not. But she is playing in her head. I told him to go north. I asked him to promise me that he would protect Harrison. And so in her mind, that's what justifies it, is that he promised me he would, and he won't go back on his promise. However, she did not. She's a fae, but she's not 500-year-old fae male who now realizes his mate.
Harrison. If Rowan told you to protect Harrison, and then Rowan got captured, bitch, you think You'd be
For
anywhere
1
but
second.
tracking that boy down. You are full of shit.
Mhm.
Anyways, she doesn't know. She doesn't know
Yeah.
because she's being tortured. That's the point. They're trying to break her.
Yes.
So all of this is happening, and then Maeve brings Fenris is like growling and upset and whatever because apparently he can still do that. But it's fine because Maeve brings out Connell, Fenris's brother, and tells Connell to tell Fenris everything that like he's thought about all the shit that Fenris has pulled, basically. And like tells him that he's like ashamed of him and that like you couldn't just let me have this one thing and that like he hates him and
She
is,
also
like,
strategically says to him to speak freely. Let your
Mhm.
brother know these words are your own and not of my command.
Yeah.
Which is like, ooh, open the fucking wound even more. Because at least if she didn't say that, they could think that he's being forced to say these things. Which unfortunately he was not being forced to say these horrible things.
You brought this upon yourself. Your arrogance, your unchecked recklessness. This is what you wanted. You couldn't let me have this. Have any part of this for myself. You took the blood oath not to serve our queen, but so you couldn't be bested by me for once in your life. You're a disgrace to our family, to this kingdom. You hoard yourself out to a foreign queen, and for what? I begged you to control yourself when you were sent to hunt Lorcan. I begged you to be smart. You might as well have spat in my face. And then she tells Connell, that'll be all. And she like tells Aelin again, tell me where you hid the word keys and swear the blood oath. The order doesn't matter, I suppose. And then she gets pushed down again.
Maeve then pulls the other card. So she knows that Aelin cares deeply about people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, since she can't get Aelin to speak by torturing her, she goes, okay, cool, that's enough, Cairn. Leaves her kneeling in the glass and tells Connell to step forward again. And all that Aelin sees is Connell is walking towards Fenris, and Fenris is stuck in place and shaking. He's trying to fight against it. Connell is walking towards him with a dagger or a sword, a knife, some kind of sharp object. And Connell's hand is also shaking. So in these moments, you think he is being commanded to stab Fenris, and he's trying to fight against it, even though he said all these things. It's still his brother, and he cares for him. And then, before Aelin knows it, Connell plunges the knife down and directly into his own heart. I like to pretend that Connell fought against stabbing his brother and stabbed himself. I don't believe that's how that happened. But I would like to think that Connell fought against stabbing his brother and stabbed himself instead. Maybe.
Instead of him fighting against killing himself.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's probably not the case. It would be a nice thing to learn that, like, even after saying those nasty things, that Connell still
Sarah,
gave a shit about Fenris.
I hope that comes up later in the book, please. Thank you.
So Connell stabs himself in the heart, falls to the ground. Fenris cannot move. He's trying to push against the bond to get to his brother. He can't. Connell then dies, or at least it is alluded to that Connell dies because he stops breathing, his heart stops beating.
The light left his eyes.
Yes. This is kind of what did it for Aelin to snap a little bit.
Yep.
She doesn't do anything right away. Pretty much Maeve has said, like, you're dismissed now. Or she kneels there. Sorry. She has to kneel there and watch Maeve eat this whole time. So Maeve gets served dinner. All this stuff happens. Maeve gets served dinner. They're eating
This,
whatever.
yeah, this is while she's eating dinner.
Yeah. Maeve's done eating dinner and she goes, okay, fine. I'm ready. Like, you can take her away now. So then Aelin gets pulled up. And of course, Aelin being Aelin, she grabs 2 shards of glass as she stands up and she stabs Cairn in the fucking neck and then yeets a piece at Maeve, who did not see it coming, Miss Dark Vogue Queen, and it slices her cheek.
It missed by a hair's breadth, scraping Maeve's pale cheek, clattering off the throne behind her. Owl perched just above it screeched. Rough hands gripped her, crayon shouting, raging shrieks of "you little bitch," but she didn't hear them, not as a trickle of blood snaked down Maeve's cheek. Black blood, as dark as night. As dark as the eyes the queen fixed on her, a hand rising to her cheek. Aelin's legs slackened, and she didn't fight the guards leading her away. A blink, and the blood flowed red again. Its scent as coppery as of her own. A trick of the light, a hallucination, another dream. Maeve peered at the crimson stain coating her pale fingers. An onyx wind snapped for Aelin, whipping around her neck. It squeezed, and she knew no more. Oh, she fucked up! Oh, she fucked up! That blood was black. Oh, that's interesting. That's weird. Aelin's definitely not gonna figure that shit out.
I wrote, black blood, then turned red, all caps, Aelin knows. She knows now. It's there. The little grain, the little seed is planted in her brain. She's going to know, and it's going to be great.
She's like, it's a dream. It's an illusion. Bitch, no, it wasn't. You know what happened. You know what it is.
Hmm. So, she's unconscious. Brought back to her.
They tie her to the altar, basically, and just leave her there.
Yeah, the place that she's been tortured this whole time, they just put her on the object where she gets tortured all the time. And Karen left all the glass in her body. Healed a bunch of stuff, but left the glass in her body, so she was still bleeding. She's not dying, but she is still actively bleeding, actively in pain. Fenris comes into the room. And in his male form. This whole scene makes me so sad.
It hurts so much, and also it's like it's heartbreaking in both ways that I'm so happy that they have each other and that they are getting through it together and being so kind to each other. But heartbreaking because of all of the fucking shit that they are having to be kind to each other about. It's fucking awful.
So
the first half of this book, or not the first half because it's not that fucking long, but like I really struggled to get through the bits of this book that are like the torture, because it's just, it's genuinely heartbreaking. She pulls no fucking punches.
Nope.
It hurts.
So Aelin blinks 3 times, which is, are you all right? 2 blinks in answer. No. Lingering salt tracks streaked down his cheeks. Her chains rustled as she stretched a shaking finger towards him, and he silently grabbed her hand. And they just held hands together for a moment so that he could feel his grief. She could say, I'm sorry, because she ultimately is going to think this is her fault, even though it's Maeve being Maeve.
Yeah.
Fenris's first words is, I didn't know he hated me so much. Because Fenris only joined to protect his brother. Like, he only took the blood oath to save his brother's life. Because I'm sure Connell didn't know, but Maeve essentially said to Fenris, I'm going to kill your brother if you don't swear the blood oath to me. And if you do, then I'll protect him. He won't die. And so he did it for his brother. And in the end, he didn't even get to tell him that.
And he did it for his brother because she was basically like making him have sex with her. And Fenris was like, nope, absolutely not. And then basically offered himself instead, as long as she didn't touch him. And
Yep.
now his brother's dead. And she
Maeve.
basically would have made him do the same thing.
Yeah.
And has only been given leave to come pick the glass shards out of Aelin's body. And then he has to go back.
To essentially be sleeping with Maeve. We get the idea he's in his male form. And
yeah.
Now we are not necessarily... This is my thought process, is every time he's on watch to Aelin, he's in his wolf form.
Yeah.
Like, he's being banished to, like, stay in his wolf form. He can't be in his human form to talk to her or be company to her. They have to pretty much be in, like, isolation together.
Mm-hmm.
When he is in his male form, it is when Maeve is essentially using him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for him to be showing up in his male form is just like I was given a break to come take the glass out, and then I have to go back to her bed, pretty much, after just watching my brother kill himself. Like, it's heart-wrenching. She pretty much tells him no, essentially, when he tries to start. She's like, I just want to sit with you. If that means you get more time in this body, leave the glass there.
Because he says, I'll be as quick as I can. And she basically is like, don't. Like, take your time to get them all out so that he has more time to mourn in his human body.
Yeah. He starts removing the glass, and it pretty much states, as the first piece of glass slid from her knee, flesh and sinew sundered anew, salt overpowered the tang of her blood, and she knew he was crying. The scent of their tears filled the tiny room as he worked. Neither of them said a word.
I love them so much. It's such a beautiful platonic friendship that's born from trauma.
It hurts. And because Fenris is good, I don't think he's going to hold it against her. He's not going to hold this against Aelin.
No.
He better not.
I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either.
He came in crying to her. Not angry at her. He knows it's fucking Maeve. It's not her. Also, he's gonna blame himself before he blames other people. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Aelin's also going to blame herself, but that's just who she is.
We got so many more episodes of this to go.
Here we go. We're in it now.
We're in it. We're locked in.
What a good start. We love this book so much.
I did enjoy the first section. Minus this, like, this little sad bit.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to happen over and over again. Aelin is currently being tortured. And she's not going to give up. She's an assassin. She was trained as an assassin. She knows how to be tortured.
Yeah,
for long periods of time.
She's not going to give a goddamn quarter.
No. I can't wait for Rowan to show up and scent her blood everywhere somehow and just fucking erupt. Him, Gavrial, and Lorcan are gonna fucking fuck shit up, and I can't wait. That's all I want.
I am very excited for Lorcan to just go completely apeshit. Because he's so powerful, and he hasn't done fuck all, basically.
No.
He's just done, like, little shit. Like, little things. The only thing that we got was, like, it was impressive that he killed all of those things in the tunnels or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or killed a decent amount of them. Ilkin or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's impressive. But, like, you didn't get
soldiers.
to see any of it. It's just, like, off.
But so does Lysandra.
Off page.
So, like.
Yeah.
The fact that he wasn't winded, wasn't tired afterwards, like, yeah.
I'm excited.
That was the thing that got me where I was like, you just slayed thousands of men.
Yeah.
And you're like, see ya. I got other shit to do.
Gotta go.
Happy to help.
I'm busy.
I'm
Can't
out.
be here.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
That's
that
it.
for episode
First
1
episode. Oh my
of
god.
Kingdom of Ash.
Part 1.
Part 1. Part 1 of Kingdom of Ash. All the episodes will be roughly 100 pages, probably.
Probably.
So we'll be here forever.
Unless No. We will be here for 12 episodes.
Maybe not.
That's not true. I don't think it'll actually be... How many pages is this again? No, it'll be
9 episodes.
No, I'm actually gonna see. I'm gonna test. I'm gonna test for next time. I think we could do 120 pages.
Okay.
Because if we can do 120 pages, I think we save like 2 episodes on this book. If we do 100 pages, it's 9 episodes, and I think if we can do 120, it's maybe just 1 episode. But like, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you just tell me where to end, and I'll end there.
We knew that today was going to be a lot, though, because it's all set up and shit, too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone, for hanging out for part 1 of Kingdom of Ash. We'll see you next time. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Yeah. We are all suffering together. It's fantastic.
Yay! You can suffer more with us on our social media. We're on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok at the Smut Peddlers.
Whee!
That's it. See y'all later.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.